Okay. So hopefully the mic's on. Hopefully, I think it should be on. All right. What is going on, y'all? It is AVIOT Sunday Brew. We are doing this episode at night today. It is 9:20 over where I am, and I don't really have much to talk about, mostly because I'm ready for the WNBA playoffs to conclude for today. I've been watching some good games. We'll get into that later, but I wanted to start this episode with just an update. Now, we've been talking about firearms in society as of late. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? We've been talking about firearms in society as of late, and I just want to talk about a recent situation that happened in Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. So we know that there was an incident where the kids there were harmed via firearms. Some kids unfortunately lost their lives, but there was one student, a 10-year-old student named Victor Grenewalt, and Victor, he actually tried to protect one of his classmates. He jumped on top of him and he ended up getting hit by a bullet in the process. So Victor was recently released from the hospital, and I think that is a great story to report. With all of these tragedies that have been happening, and like the school situations with firearms, it's really unfortunate, and we really have to do more to protect our kids. I truly believe that kids should not be suffering due to people using firearms in a non-responsible way and being irresponsible with it. So I'm happy for Victor. I'm happy he's doing well. And I just wanted to mention that. Also, when we're talking about just firearms and firearm safety in general, we have to understand. I know that people they want to have access to this, but at the same time, we cannot allow the mismanagement of this because firearms are responsible for this. Everyone says, well, it's the people. Well, these people over the years have gotten access to these firearms from Sandy Hook all the way to now. And children have been harmed, innocent people have been harmed. It's terrible. We have to do a better job at protecting people and stop being selfish. It's not just about you. We understand you may be a responsible firearm owner, but not everybody else is. So there needs to be laws put in place to stop this stuff. So that's what I have to say with that. I really want peace. I really want I really want people to operate in a way that does not harm the public safety. Speaking of which, harming people, we got someone a troll right here. You wanted me to mention you. You're over here saying interesting comments. Okay, you're saying make monkey noises. All right, I'll entertain you for a minute. Okay, I'll entertain you for and I'll humor you for a minute. Okay, so I'm not gonna do that, but I see that it bothers you so much that I'm just here speaking, a black individual who is just speaking on a live stream. So you want to troll and you want to make fun of me or whatever. Hey, you got your moment. And guess what? Your moment is gone. All right. So there you have it. Next. All right. All right. Yes. Thank you, Brady. Thank you. Thank you. People have to learn respect. But this person, they just wanted to say their piece so that they could so that they could get noticed, and they got their notice. But that's the thing, y'all. I think that that makes a good segue. I was going to go speak on the Vatican in that recent concert that they had there, but here's the thing: words matter. We're seeing that, right? In the recent news that has happened, we're seeing that words matter. When you are over here and you're comparing black people to apes or monkeys, right? Then that shows a deep hatred or a deep dislike that you have for black people. And I always wonder, where does that dislike come from? Are you envious? Are you jealous? Do you wish to have the power that black people do? And this is not on some supremacy tip. This is more on power and influence. Black people have influenced culture. Black people have influenced cuisine. Black people have influenced language. You say y'all, you say what's up, you say that's lit. These are all black terminology. Yeah, don't thrive in ignorance. I understand. I'm just saying, I always ask, where is that ignorance coming from? Because there's no reason for you to call me an animal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the comments. Brady, yeah, this guy is weird. Yeah, yeah, he is weird. It's just that he wants to come out here and call people out their names. I always wonder where it comes from. I know it comes from a deep place of hurt. I'm always wondering, is it envy? Is it jealousy? Like, that's got to be it, because I'm not bothering anyone. I'm over here talking about a great situation out of a tragedy. There was a tragedy that happened at Annunciation Catholic School, and I'm talking about a child by the name of Victor who saved his classmate, and now he's doing well after being hit by a bullet. I'm talking about that. And what you're doing is you're coming on this live stream right here and you're making it about being a bigot. What does that have to do with anything? Why can't you join me in being happy that this child, Victor, is doing well? Hmm? Why can't you do that? Instead, you're focusing on my race. And that shows there's something wrong with you. Something special, especially wrong with you. So, really, take that envy, take that jealousy, and go someplace else. Get help. Understand. Understand. Get help. Words matter. When you dehumanize Black people like that, what happens is you have a society that doesn't look at Black people as worth living. This turns into police officers, law enforcement harming Black people that are unarmed and not bothering anyone. This turns into laws that harm Black people, take away their resources because of your words. You called me, you're saying make monkey noises, so you're likening me to an ape, dehumanizing me. And what happens is people look at that and this group thought happens. And this group thought happens. I'm looking at another comment right here, but dreads are effing intimidating. What is intimidating about my long hair? This is a cultural style that goes back thousands of years. Just because you scared of me doesn't mean my locks are bad. You're scared of me. The more you feed the ignorance, the more will come. I'm not feeding the ignorance right now. What I'm doing, I'm turning this into a learning lesson, saying how words matter, because a lot of people like to say, oh, well, I'm just debating. Oh, well, I'm just using my words. Words matter. When you dehumanize a person, it makes it so that other people who have this groupthink mindset that look to a leader or look to someone who is in charge, they will follow that, and that will influence policy. That will influence behavior. Hey, Brendan, how you doing? That will influence behavior. So that's why words matter. Be more careful with your words, and you can say all you want to, but guess what? I'm going to educate about these topics. I'm not going to allow people to just call me out my way and let that just happen. You're not going to call me out my name and just let that happen. I'm going to tell you, by doing so, you contribute to this terrible society around us, because you're influencing people who are going to be law enforcement. You're influencing people who are going to be politicians, and they're going to make laws that harm people that look like me, all because of your words. So do with that what you will. With that being said, I want to move on to something more positive. So there was a recent concert that took place at the Vatican, and I was put onto this concert because the Clips were performing there. The Clips are this hip hop group, and I was saying to myself, the Clips, the Clips who talk about selling substances are going to be performing at the Vatican. So I'm saying, someone's in here saying I'm playing the victim card. No, I'm not playing the victim card. I'm educating. I'm educating about what happens when you utilize certain words and you're dehumanizing people. Yeah, so that it is what it is. But yeah, I was saying the Vatican is allowing the Clips to perform there. It really caught me off guard, but they ended up performing and they did the song "The Birds Don't Sing." And I'm looking at this article right here. It's saying that the Clips took the stage at St. Peter's Square, and they were the first rap group ever, the first rap act ever to perform at the Vatican. I thought that was really interesting. I was reading more into it, and I believe they're trying to do this thing with AI and use AI as a way to help humanity. So it was a huge concert. I definitely want to see more of it. I only saw part of the performance that the Clips were at, and I think it's really cool how we're using different music in order to inspire people, in order to provide something that is positive. I look at the comment section. That's the one thing when you have trolls will say anything. I decided to engage earlier with trolls on here because I wanted to make an educational lesson, because there's a lot of news out there talking about how, oh, well, people are just debating, they're just using words. And I'm just like, well, it's not as simple as that. Oh, another thing too. What you put out into the atmosphere, it comes back. It comes back. It comes back to you. So if you put a lot of negativity out into the atmosphere, guess what? That's gonna come right back around. That's how the universe works. I try to put positivity. I try to educate people out there, and I try to just spread news that's happening in the media. So I want to know what you all think. Did anyone in here? Did you listen to the performances that happened at the Vatican recently? I definitely am going to explore that a little further, and then I'll be able to speak more to that subject. So that is that. Another thing too, going back to, let me see. Brady, I spoke about that on the AVIOT podcast. So if you look at the last episode of the AVIOT podcast, I already covered that, and I said that that's the last I'm going to talk about that situation, just because it's too much in the media. It's too much in the media. Black Rose, not all black people look the same. Kanye West never had locks, to my knowledge, or there's never any major pictures with him having locks. Yeah, so Brady, no, 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 no. We don't all look alike. No, 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 no. So I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I look nothing like Kanye. But yeah, so Brady, I actually talked about it. It is the last episode of the AVI podcast, the one that just passed. I'm gonna actually find the name of the episode. Um, my face. I don't look like Kanye. I don't- I mean, that was my mistake. I thought you were talking. I'm like looking at the hair and everything, but I don't look like Kanye. Nothing like him. Kanye has more of a square jaw than I do. Whatever. Anyways, I'm trying to find the name of the podcast episode, Brady, where how about Kanye South? I don't know what that is. The name of the podcast is it's episode 81 of the AVI podcast, which you can find on streaming services anywhere. It's called Heavy is the Head. That's the name of the podcast. So that's where I spoke about that situation. And I said on that podcast, I'm not talking about it anymore. I'm done with it. There are better things to be discussing. Kanye South is crazy. You're funny. But yeah, anything else? Kanye East is more fitting. Doesn't Kanye have a kid called North, and then and it's Northwest? Y'all talking about different locations. Everybody's playing around with Kanye's name. Another thing too, I was wondering, where is Kanye at anyway? I haven't heard of him in a while. And with this recent performance that happened at the Vatican, I know him and Pusha T aren't getting along, but I just thought about him because I said if Kanye was in his right mind, I think he would have wanted to perform at the Vatican. I think he would have been perfect to. Thank you, Brady. Yeah, definitely check that out. Leave a comment if you want. Yeah, I talked about it there. I talked about it more in detail there. But I feel like Kanye has. I haven't heard of him for years. Not really checking out the rap scene as much as I used to. Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't either. It wasn't until this whole hip hop beef with Kendrick Lamar and Aubrey that I actually started paying more attention to hip hop again. You know what music I'm into nowadays? I've always listened to a lot of jazz, but also got into lo-fi music. So lo-fi music is more of something you can study to. It's like kind of hip hop beats over like jazz music over like a hip hop beat. So lo-fi is really good. And then I also recently checked out an album by a singer by the name of Samara Joy. So Samara Joy, she's a really good singer. It's kind of like opera-esque, but it's not really. It's like a jazz singer. So think of like Ella Fitzgerald. Yeah, lo-fi chill. Like yeah. Lo-fi. I love me some lo-fi. You know it's funny. You know it's funny. Um, the last night, me and my wife, we were in the car, and I was asking her about lo-fi music. I was asking her the different music, like what it makes her feel. Like, does she feel anything out of different tracks? Because lo-fi, for a casual listener, they might hear a song and they may say, "Oh, this all sounds the same." But to me, the different lo-fi tracks, they have a different feel to it depending on who is the performer and whatever is going on along with those beats. So lo-fi, I know there's chill hop. Chill hop, they have their own kind of version of lo-fi music that they have on Spotify. I think they have it on YouTube and all that stuff, and or different streaming services and different platforms. And with chill hop, they release lo-fi music that is based off different seasons of the year. So right now they have their summer chill hop playlist. Oh, thanks, Brady. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, same for me. I have a knack for listening to music notes and things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's always nice to just listen to music and see whatever the artist is trying to convey, that we may not necessarily like get on the first listen, or that the average listener that's not really paying attention understands. But yeah, nah, I love sitting back and just like listening to instrumentals a lot of time. It really does something for the soul, man. Like it's really nice to just sit back and hear like different melodies, hear what's going on. I used to produce music once upon a time. I might get back into that later on, but I stopped right now. But also, just going back to Brady, thank you for subbing to the channel. Just to let you know, this is a media education channel, and everything that has to do with the AVIOT podcast is kind of like the mouthpiece, because it was started with me and my cousin. We started that, and it's the official podcast of this channel, Chemistry Productions. So that's what we do there. K Church, I was saying it earlier. I did a podcast episode. So look up the AVIOT podcast on streaming services. It's episode 81. It's called Heavy is the Head. Yeah, K Church. I talked about that already on that podcast episode. Okay. So I said I'm not going to reference it anymore. Brady. All right. Thanks. Thanks. All right. You as well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Yeah. So where was I going? I know I was talking about chill hop, dealing with music. Oh yeah. And then let me see. I make music too. I'm more into making dubstep and stuff. Okay, okay, that's what's up. Dubstep, bro. I haven't heard of dubstep in a minute. I think I need to go back and listen to it. Yeah, dubstep. I listen. I listen to dubstep, house music, techno, like that. Those used to be my genres. I've just moved more into like the jazzy lo-fi feel. I think that's just where I am. No need to apologize, K Church. No need to apologize. Yeah, you can check out that podcast episode. I already talked about that situation. And please, everyone, check out my podcast on Spotify, the AVI podcast on Spotify. I'll really appreciate it. We post every week. My sister and I, we actually have a sports podcast episode that I'm releasing tonight. Thank you, K Church. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We have a sports episode that I'm releasing tonight. We recorded it about 2 days ago, and I've been just busy with work, so I never put it out. But where was I going? Yeah, with music. Before we got into the whole music talk, I was saying that with rap or hip hop, I kind of left it alone. It just wasn't. It just I didn't feel anything from it. Right, it wasn't doing it for me. But then when this whole hip hop beef with Aubrey and Kendrick Lamar happened, I started getting more back into it, and then I feel like hip hop artists have been putting out better music as of late. Okay, a dubstep song for me. It's called. Okay, all right. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. So what I'll do is when the live is over, I'll go back and I will take a snapshot of this, or I'll take that name and then I'll look it up. All right. I'm open to any genre of music. My thing is with music in general, like music could speak to so many people. You don't even need to know the language. I remember I used to listen to this, I think he's Belgian, this Belgian artist named Stromae. And it's funny because I was just showing my wife him like a couple months ago. And then this album we recently listened to featured Stromae on it. And I was like, bro, I haven't heard of Stromae in years. So I'm always open to different music. But as far as hip hop goes, I think right now you have a lot of artists that are doing decent in the mainstream sense. Because I know in the underground scene, You can always find good hip hop artists in the underground scene. It's just that you have to sift through so many people in order to find that person that does it for you. Recently, I've been getting back into not getting back into, but actually listening to what's his name? His name is geez. He's like right Big Crit. Big Crit. Big Crit is pretty good. I like him. Also, he has a southern draw. I think he's from Mississippi. My family's from the South, so I always appreciate southern artists. It's nice to connect and hear that, especially because I don't talk to my family all the time. I just talk to my mom all the time, and she still has a little bit of that southern kick to it. She tries to disguise it, but I always hear it. But yeah, I like Big Crit. And who else do I listen to? I listen to Joey Bad ASS. He's cool too, but yeah, it's mostly lo-fi for me. Anyways, I was plugging the podcast episode that I'm releasing later on today with my sister, and the day's almost over, so I gotta hurry up and release it. That's speaking on sports. Today was the first day of the WNBA playoffs for 2025. I don't know if any of you are sports fans out there, but the WNBA, I'm really loving what I'm seeing. The competition is great. I hot take, I like the WNBA more than the NBA at this point because I feel like the women play harder and it's like they don't feel entitled. It doesn't seem like they're entitled to me. What they do is they just play hard. They have a lot of personality. They're accessible to the public. And like I've chatted with some online, brief conversations. Like I'll comment under a picture, I'll comment under a post, and then they'll respond back or like the picture or like the post. So they're very accessible, pretty cool. The WNBA players, like now is the time to be watching. You have the WNBA playoffs going on, and then college basketball, women's college ball is coming back. UConn won last year. UConn, that's my spot. No, 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 no. Nobody pays me to prop up the WNBA. I thoroughly enjoy it. If you look at videos on this channel, you'll see I talk about the WNBA and women's basketball players often. So it's not me getting paid to prop it up. I genuinely like the league. I genuinely enjoy seeing the players and watching them on social media, seeing their personalities. So you have women's college ball coming back. I'm interested to see what UConn does this year. My two teams are UConn and South Carolina. Me personally, I'm from Connecticut, and then my family's from South Carolina, so I always root for those two squads. We'll see what happens. They both met in the finals. I wanted a better game than what happened. It was a blowout. UConn won. I mean, it was a win-win for me either way, and I said it on my videos leading up to that finals. And then in January, you have unrivaled basketball. That's going to be really cool. I made a video speaking about this new season that's coming up. And then we'll see if there's another WNBA season next year because there may be a lockout. The players are not being paid enough, and it's really unfortunate. We had some good games though with the WNBA today. The New York Liberty versus Phoenix Mercury game. I really wanted Phoenix to win that game because it's the best of three in the first round. I really wanted Phoenix to win that game, but they lost to New York. I had a feeling New York was going to win it. And then earlier, Minnesota beat the Valkyries. The Dream beat Indiana. And now, in about 17 minutes, the Las Vegas Aces are going to go up against the Seattle Storm. I think that's going to be a pretty good game. I'm predicting that Las Vegas is going to win that, but I think it's going to be a pretty good game, pretty good series. So I'm going to plug the WNBA. Women's basketball is nice. Women's sports in general is great. They are great. Sports in general. Like today, I think the World Championships have been happening in Tokyo, and Jefferson Wooden, I believe her name is. She just won the 100-meter race or dash for women, and she is from Georgetown, South Carolina. So best believe my family is very happy. A fellow South Carolinian winning a big time event, so that was excellent. Noah Lyles, he got third place in his 100-meter dash. I know that's not his race, but listen, he keeps placing. I found it so interesting because I know he had this thing with Kenny Bednarek, and Kenny Bednarek has been talking junk about Noah Lyles earlier this year. And there was this whole controversy where Kenny and his girlfriend, I think, made a burner account and were making fun of Noah and his fiance and other track athletes. But my thing is, yo, Kenny, you talking junk about Noah, and then you allegedly made a burner account that was trashing his character, but you still can't beat him. Like Kenny was in that 100-meter dash, I think, and he didn't even place. My thing is, if you talking junk about someone, if you got smoke with someone, win. Do the damage on the court or on the field or on the track. Like, stop just talking about somebody and then you can't back up, you know, what you're saying. So I just thought that was interesting. I know a lot of people don't like Noah because they think he's arrogant or they think he's too full of himself. I like Noah Lyles. I think he's cool. That's just me. With that being said, we will end this episode right now. My looks, your looks like very. Are you talking about my locks? Anyways, so we're gonna end this live right here. Uh, Thank you for all who came, even the trolls, because the trolls made it possible for me to extend this live a little bit further. I tell you, I came into this blind. I didn't know what I was gonna talk about. Like, I had some ideas in my head. I didn't know how I was gonna piece it together, but the trolls got me going, and I appreciate some of the dialogue regarding music. So we always end these episodes by talking about what's brewing for the next week. So what's brewing for me? I've had this darn paper that I have been writing, and I still haven't made any headway on it. It's talking about immigrants and criminality. So when it actually comes out, I will let you all know. But I was supposed to have it finished on Friday. So that's what's going to be brewing for me this week. Working on that. And then I have another topic for another article idea that I want to finish as well. So those are the big things that I'm going to be working on. With that being said, I will see you all next Sunday. Make sure to like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to interact with the content. Just if you disagree with some of my takes, just make a nice message talking about why you disagree. And then I may or may not address what you have to say. Just be respectful. I always try to be respectful to others. All right. So, with that being said, I'll see you all next week. All right. Peace.